Welcome to Age, Pension, Super and Retirement. I am your host Yvonne, and as always, this podcast is information only and not personal advice. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at gifting via some Facebook group questions, and of course, to do so, I'd like to welcome back Rebecca.
Thanks, Yvonne. It's good to be here.
Let's start with Greg, who asks, I'm on age pension, but my wife is under 67. Can my wife make gifts without affecting my gifting allowance?
There's a good question. The answer is no, she can't. When Centrelink is dealing with a couple, they assess you as a couple. You're not two separate people, you're a couple. So when they're looking at your assets and your income, they're looking at combined assets, combined income. And when you make the gift, you're making it as a couple. And maybe it comes from your wife's account, maybe her bank account. It's still, you have to declare it to Centrelink as a couple. So yes, it's going to affect Greg's gifting allowance. It's a couple gifting allowance, not an individual person gifting allowance. So she can make a gift, but Greg will have to declare it on his Centrelink account as a gift, and any gifts over the $10,000 per year will continue to affect his assessment, his asset assessment going forward. And the important thing to look at there too is when you've got a couple and there's one under 67 and one over 67, younger partner, if they have super in accumulation mode, it's not counted as an asset. And if the wife gifts money from that super, so if she decides, oh, well, I've got some money in super, it's not being counted by Centrelink yet, I'll give some of that to my kids. As soon as she pulls it out of super, it becomes accessible, and then she gifts it, it's still accessible. So the first 10,000 is per year is the gifting allowance, so that is excluded. But anything more, like say she pulled out $50,000 from her super fund to give to her daughter, 10,000 will be allowed as a gift and will not be recorded on the assets, but the other 40,000 suddenly becomes accessible assets, and that will actually reduce Greg's pension if she does that. So usually gifts don't reduce your pension, but this is one of the scenarios where, because she's, in this example that I've just made up, because she's pulling money out from a non-accessible asset, an exempt asset, she pulls it out, it suddenly becomes accessible. And when she gifts it, it's still accessible.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. That's really clear now. Wendy asks, we are a couple aged 63 and 62. If we give $100,000 to our son, I assume it is $50,000 each, and the older partner is under the gifting rules until 68, but the younger partner will be okay from 67.
All right, so here's another question, just trying to tease out this thing. So Wendy, she's aware of the gifting rule being the 5-year rule. So when you make a gift over the $10,000 per year gifting free area, the amount over and above is counted as still your asset for 5 years. So she's right about that. It's a 5-year thing, but it's not $50,000 each. That's where she's gotten something wrong. So if they decide to give $100,000 today to their son, it's $100,000 as a couple. It's not $50,000 each. And it's recorded for Centrelink purposes, it's $100,000. Now, so they're both under pension age. So what's going to happen is if let's say they give $100,000 on the 1st of July, 2026, and then in 4 years' time, when the older partner turns 67 and applies for age pension, they will need to declare on the income and assets form in the gifts area, there's a question, have you made any financial gifts or given away or sold assets for less than market value? They will need to declare, they'll say, yes, on the 1st of July 2026, we gave $100,000. And so that will be recorded on the Centrelink record, and that will be on the Centrelink record for the couple until the 1st of July 2031, which means that it's going to affect the older person's pension for 12 months or so. But by the time the younger person turns 67, it's going to be almost off the record, because it's going to be past that date, past the 5-year period. So she's almost right, but it's not quite. It's not $100,000. Sorry, it's not $50,000 each. It's $100,000 as a couple that they're giving.
That's wonderful, Rebecca. Thank you. Now, Grace asks, I know the gifting rule is $10,000 per year and $30,000 in 5 years. If I gift $20,000 in a single year, in year 2, is the second $10,000 no longer counted as my asset?
All right. I like this question because Grace is really trying to get to the nitty-gritty of it and understand, how does this really work at Centrelink? So she's right. The gifting rule is $10,000 per year and $30,000 over a 5-year period. So she's thinking, but I want to give $20,000. If I give that, what happens in the second year? The simplest way I can explain it is, she's giving $20,000 in the first year. In the second year, how much is she giving? Nothing. She's not giving $10,000 in the second year. So she can't exclude another $10,000 that year, because she hasn't made a gift of $10,000 in year 2. One way you can get around that, this is completely legal. The Centrelink people will talk you through how to do this. If she wants to, she can set it up with the person she's giving it to, that she transfers $20,000 and writes up a document saying, here's $20,000, $10,000 of this is a gift, free and clear. The other $10,000 is a loan with no interest, and you can pay it back in 5 years' time. Yeah, transfer the $20,000 and have the paperwork saying that. And so then when you go to Centrelink, you tell them, I just gave $20,000 to my son, daughter, whoever. $10,000 is a gift and $10,000 is a loan, and they will record that on your account. So the $10,000 gift will be gone off your assets, and the $10,000 loan will sit there. And then in the next financial year, you could go to Centrelink and say, oh, that $10,000 loan that I've got on my record, I've just decided to forgive that loan. So you can convert it to a gift and take it off my record. And that's what they'll do. They'll say this $10,000 loan has been forgiven, and the forgiving of that $10,000 is effectively a gift, and so it will come off the assets immediately. And then you can go to the person that you loaned the money to and say, and you can document it, I have forgiven that remaining $10,000. You don't ever need to pay it back to me. And this is a way of making everything clear and getting around that rule, that it is $10,000 per year, and it doesn't just drop off automatically, because unless you actually have made a gift in the second year.
Really interesting, Rebecca. Now, a little tack on without notice here, Rebecca. Does it need to be legally drawn up, or is it just some sort of a document that's signed? Would you know?
For that kind of amount, you don't need to go through a lawyer. You can just do it yourself. As long as you and the other person that you're transferring the money to are satisfied that it looks okay, then that's all you need to do.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rebecca. Now, finally, Georgia asks, I'm about to apply for job seeker payment. My parents have offered to give me $10,000 to pay the last of my mortgage. Is that $10,000 considered income by Centrelink?
So I thought I'd throw this one in because we're always asking about gifts from the other side of the equation. So when they're a recipient of a gift and sort of thinking, oh, I've heard this $10,000 rule. What's the go with receiving a gift? And it's important to note that the gifting rule only applies to the giver. It does not apply to the recipient. So there is no recipient rule. Any gift that you receive, if you're on a Centrelink payment, it's not income. Gifts are not income, and there is no limit on the amount of money you can receive as a gift. In this case, Georgina's going to get $10,000 from her parents, and she's going to pay it off the mortgage. So it's going to come into her account and go straight out again onto the mortgage. It's not income. We said that already. It's not income because it's a gift. It's not considered an asset either because it hasn't stayed in any account for more than 14 days, just come in and gone straight through onto the mortgage. So she also does not need to declare it as an asset. Either way, this is not going to affect her job seeker payment. Yeah, it's not an issue. She can receive the money, put it on her mortgage, and it's all good.
So from what you've just said, Rebecca, it's really just important what Georgina does with the $10,000.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. So when you're on Centrelink and you receive a gift, that usually means a change in your assets and probably is something you need to declare to Centrelink, but it depends on what you do with the money. So that's exactly right. If you receive a gift and you spend it within 14 days, and spending it is, spending it on food, spending it on medical costs, spending it on holiday, paying down your mortgage, paying down other debts that you have, all of those spendings, the money's effectively gone straight away. So none of those things really need to be declared to Centrelink. If you use the money to purchase assets, like maybe you purchase yourself a new car or a caravan, or you purchase some shares with the money, or you purchase an investment property, any assets that you purchase will need to be declared to Centrelink. And also, if you're just putting the money into the bank for a rainy day, that is still considered an asset because a bank account is a financial asset. So if you get a gift and you put $20,000 in a bank account, you will need to declare that to Centrelink. Say, you can just update this online, but I've got my bank account, the balance was $1,000, now it's $21,000, and you update that on your record. When you're under 67, you putting money into super is in accumulation phase, is not accessible by Centrelink. So if you receive a gift or an inheritance and you decide to put some of that money into your super fund and you're under 67, you don't need to tell Centrelink about that. You can just come in your account and go straight out to your super fund. It's not an asset because it's not an accessible asset when you're under 67.
That's really a wonderful answer. For our international listeners wishing to join our Facebook group, the code word is YELLOW. As always, this has been information only and not personal advice. Thank you so very much, Rebecca.
You're welcome, Yvonne.